Welcome in the latest episode of the Need for Seeds College Basketball Podcast, presented to you by Nobody. I'm the real underscore G Warner, joined by at Big East Ben. We might have another guest coming. We'll see, because he's perfect on the podcast so far this season. Tonight's episode will be, well, me sweating a lot, and then also the conference tournament preview, going through the biggest games of the biggest conferences and the biggest leagues and the biggest everything's out there. Big East Ben, how are you doing on this Monday night? Rare to see you, not on the weekend.
Doing great. Saturday was one of the happiest days in college basketball I've probably had in multiple seasons.
Carolina covered.
Did you see that tweet? It was like me at like 4:07 p.m. Carolina plus 18 and a half was the sharpest bet ever. I'm a genius. And it was like 49-47. And then 15 minutes later, it was 71 to 49.
Yeah, so I'm out with some idiots.
And the underhit in that game.
Yeah, that never happens for me. But I was out with some idiots and then some girls there. And they're like, how much did you bet on this game? She's like, what? No way. And I was like, yeah. She's like, what if you lose? And I was like, I'm used to it. But then I was like, we cover first half, though UNC was basically, I was saying, if we get outside the number, it's over. So 10 and a half plus 10 and a half first half, it got to 11. Then came back, and I got to say, when they were down 21 late, I was really, really not having a good time. But got within the number, got enough, I guess, kind of buckets towards the end. I'm afraid we're going to see Duke at like favorite levels of like Gonzaga in this ACC tournament, but we'll get into it and we'll start. Is that where you want to start, the ACC, since it's alphabetical?
Oh, you're just going to ignore the biggest win of Saturday?
Yes, a huge win for Oklahoma over Texas. Actually, Big East Ben did win a bet. Didn't even need the points. I think that's where he's going.
Yeah, Marquette beat UConn straight up. Number 4 team in the country.
If only they could have done that in the years where we had them to win the title.
The first time they beat UConn in the history of this podcast.
Like I said, or our 100-1 last year, or 120-1, whatever it was, that would have been nice if they'd done it then. But it just takes a team that's going to completely reinvent themselves next year in the transfer portal to do it.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, the young pieces are there. We just need a couple pieces from the portal.
I thought Shotgun would do that.
If they make it to the quarters of the Big East and give UConn another tough game, like, I'll be ecstatic. It is a great foundation to build on for next year.
All right, and so we'll move now straight to the ACC after getting that big win off of our chests. Good one for Big East Ben, as I've been a little bit of rut on my YouTube. Ever since we moved to YouTube, Ben's been on fire. I've been dousing the flames.
Okay.
We'll start with ACC play. Yeah, all our guests have been undefeated, so that's been good too. So we need more guests. We'll start with the ACC. So as I was saying, I'm concerned that Duke's going to be just such a gigantic favorite in all these games that it's going to make this not really that fun. And I would say, I guess, Big East Ben, tell me, when you're looking for potential bets for conference tournament play, what are you looking for generally?
Not negative 350 teams. I'm
Okay.
looking at, in that 200 to plus 300 range, and I like to sprinkle on some long shots. I can't remember a team being minus 350 to win any Power 5 conference over the last 10 to 15 years.
Well, we have one finally. Duke, as Ben says, is minus 350 in this really stacked ACC after they got 3 teams in the tournament last year. I guess they're a little bit better this year or something like that. From what I was expecting Ben to potentially go is, I'm very interested, as someone for something just locked the Virginia Tech number. I wonder who's betting them. But I think for me, I look for paths, and Duke is on the side of the bracket with North Carolina and Clemson. Those are probably the 2 best. On the bottom side, we have Virginia at 2, Miami at 3, Louisville at 6, NC State maybe is on there potentially at a 7, but in general, if you're not taking that minus 350, you got to get an idea of who's going to get there. The problem is, if you get someone to that final game, they likely play Duke, and then we'll be a big underdog. But you can potentially hedge. You can hedge your bet by betting Duke if you feel like it, or hedging is for gardeners and you let it ride, like Texas Tech in the championship in 2019. That's why I'm still gardening, I guess. So Duke minus 350. Virginia Tech just got locked. The University of Virginia are plus 650. Louisville as a 6 seed are plus 900, 9-1 odds. Miami, that 3 seed who would get Louisville, if Louisville wins its first game against the winner of SMU and Syracuse. Miami's 18-1. North Carolina at 22-1. They're on the Duke side, as I said. NC State 40-1. Clemson, the 5 seed, 40-1. And I don't know if it's worth talking about more than that. Florida State 66-1. Where, I guess, do you see any value in this ACC that's not a minus 350 favorite?
I see value on Miami. You're looking at the revenge spot against Louisville in their opening game. Then they take on a Virginia team that they should have beat on the road. They were up that entire game, ended up losing by 3. And then, in the championship game, uh, who says it? Kevin Millar. Anything can happen.
Just get some whiskey.
So, so Miami at 18-1. That's my pick. I'm also sprinkling a little bit on Clemson at 40-1. I know they're on the same side of the bracket as Duke and North Carolina, but maybe, you get Duke. That's the thing with these top tier teams that are so freaking good this year, that is there the thought in the back of their mind of like, it is such Final Four national championship or bust that these conference tournaments really don't matter.
Yeah, and that's probably where maybe not an upset, but that's definitely the underdogs angle that I'd be looking to take. But if you're wrong and Duke really cares about winning this thing, good luck. Unfortunately, I think from my perspective, I was going to say Miami as well. I do think the 2-1. I mean, doubling the odds of Louisville, who I have been betting against for years, it feels like. I'm pretty interested in that Miami side. I don't really know that I trust Virginia whatsoever, and I think that's probably enough on that conference. We'll move to the Big 12 because they're actually going to start a little bit earlier, about an hour and a half earlier on Tuesday, the 10th of March. I'll remind you of the seeds: Arizona, the 1 seed; Houston, the 2; Kansas, the 3; Texas Tech, the 4. 5, we have Iowa State, which is kind of amazing how far they fell. 6 is TCU, 7 West Virginia, 8 is UCF. And now with numbers, Arizona minus 110 to win, which is pretty low, especially with Houston in there. They're 2-1. All lines courtesy Bet Online. If you don't have an account there, please let me know at the @RealGWarner across all social media platforms, because they do offer a lot of things that other places don't. Iowa State plus 725, third team most likely to win this whole thing. Texas Tech, they play in the second round, 14-1. Kansas, with a bye all the way to the quarterfinals, are 750. BYU then down to 50-1 as they are the 10 seed, which is incredible. TCU 51 also as the 6 seed. Cincinnati as the 9 is 66-1. Get UCF in that second game, who are 100-1. So there's clearly, it's not all about the seeding and where these teams are priced.
If you were going to take a chalk favorite of the elite teams, I think Arizona is your best play. They are now fully healthy. I didn't even realize, dude, they have that Aristotle. He's awesome. He's from
Little
Belgium
Aristotle.
or Netherlands, I think. I didn't even realize he was on the team. He's incredible. So they're like, we talk kind of about like Arizona's rotation, and I think they're 9 deep at this point with a healthy Pete and this Arido guy who's fully healthy. So Arizona at minus 110. If you're going to go with a chalk team, I think this is your best bet here. Houston at plus 200 is a little enticing. They have not closed the season well. It's also tough when your first game could be against BYU. That's not a great draw. I know you're very down on BYU. They did beat Texas Tech on Saturday. I was on that side. I
They
also
were losing literally the whole game from whenever I looked up.
I did this finally. I don't know why I didn't do it all year, but I'm glad I finally pulled the trigger in the regular season. I took Tech first half money line, parlay with BYU, game money line. I think it was like plus 480. So if I was doing that a whole season, I probably would be retired by now.
Yeah, we should have.
I like the Jayhawks here at plus 750.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to get pretty much like, you'll get a battle out of TCU, maybe. They did
remember one Big 12 tournament game when I was sending you updates from each TV timeout about how many field goals over my shoulder it was shown that TCU made in the game. I think it was against Houston, because it was 0 for a long time. So maybe there's a game there, but I feel like, yes, these teams have completely turned over, but Jamie Dixon certainly must be scared of that place.
Yeah, I think they're safely in at this point, even with a first. Well, they'll beat Colorado or Oklahoma State, and then whoever. I think that one will put them in. But Kansas has already beat, or Yeah, they beat Houston at home this season. The Darren Peterson noise, I feel like, has died down a little bit. I'm reading some of his quotes and I actually like what the guy's saying, so to speak. So Kansas, easier side of the bracket. Bill Self has won handfuls of Big 12 championships before. I like the Jayhawks at plus 750.
Yeah, in Kansas City. So, of course, the tournament I went to, everyone hated KU, and so the ticket value of the prices of the tickets that I had were about nil. But for me, I mean that helps, and KU because KU is very close to Kansas City, that matters a lot. Iowa State will have a huge crowd presence, which I think is also probably why Texas Tech is a much bigger underdog. Though we literally talked about Miami being a bigger underdog than Louisville just one segment ago. Houston, I think, is awesome. I don't think that Arizona is too expensive considering how talented they are. They are approximately 8 deep now, though, which is pretty thin still for most rosters. But with
Including Eridote?
including Aristode, they are. Wait, that's one, two, three, four, five, six. Yeah, seven, eight. Eight
Okay.
guys average 32.5% of minutes. So then they dropped to 6.3% with City Gay and Evan Nelson. So um, I still
That
think
look
that's really thin and takes a risk with injuries. But as you mentioned, I mean, they're about as healthy as you can say coming into this event, as far as I understand. So that's helpful. Texas Tech in the Friday matchup, the semifinals, might be on deck, but also that Iowa State Texas Tech game is going to be great, I think, especially because Texas Tech just went in there and beat down Iowa State. I think for me, in terms of value here, potentially, I want nothing to do with that Iowa State team, unfortunately. So I don't know that I really think Houston at 2-1 is that interesting, but I feel like Houston, there probably is value in 2-1. So that's probably my short shot, more likely to win it pick, I think. There certainly will be a game from KU. I just don't know what we're going to get from them on any day. Um, I'm a little tempted by Iowa State plus 725, but having to get through Arizona and Houston and Texas Tech feels like pretty stacked road, even though there's certainly will get the fans there. And make sure you get your Busch Light early because it'll be gone. Moving
I
now
also
to
put a couple bucks on Oklahoma State 800 to 1.
that would certainly pay for some lap dances in Indianapolis. I don't know necessarily if I'm going to be with you there, though, I got to say, because that team is terrifying when they're not at home and kind of terrifying even when they are at home. All right, we move to the Big Ten. We'll start with prices in this one just because Michigan, not as big of a favorite as Duke, but that's because they play in a real conference, apparently. Michigan State, regular Michigan, go blue. They're minus 135. 4 seed Illinois on their side of the bracket plus 425. 2 seed Nebraska 12-1, which is hilarious to me. Michigan State, the 3 seed 6-1. Purdue 8.5-1, who have fallen all the way to number 7. Wild. Let's go. Wisconsin 25-1 with wins over everybody. UCLA 40-1. Ohio State 66-1. Iowa 80-1. Indiana 150-1. And the rest of the teams probably are not going to have much of a chance unless you see an outsider that you want me to mention.
You don't want to do any. Well, it's good. This is first year Big Ten is allowing everybody in the tournament. So we got that extra day for the fans that can enjoy Maryland versus Oregon and Penn State versus Northwestern. So good thing they updated that change.
If you literally had like, unfortunately, I used to buy these ticket books. You get charged, I think less obviously in the championship, but you're still paying for these if you're buying the whole season or I guess weekend package or whatever tournament thing. I'd rather jump off a bridge. But maybe Oregon and Maryland can win one, two, three, four, five, 6 games in 6 days.
Georgia Southern almost did. They were down last time I checked 14 to Troy though.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're going to be able to pull it off.
Damn.
Um, yeah, like I said, I'm not going to take Michigan here. What'd you have Michigan at? I'm sorry.
They're minus 135 currently.
Yeah, I'm not taking Michigan here. State just has too many flaws for me to take them either. Look, I'm going with two long shots in this one, and I'm going to sprinkle the same amount of money on each. And there's each have kind of their flaws, but I like each of these picks a lot. First one is Wisconsin at 25-1.
Okay.
Like you said, beat absolutely everybody. Beat everybody. May have like their collection of wins versus put them their collection of wins against any other team in the country, and they stack up.
including a
They're
Marquette team that UConn couldn't even beat this weekend.
Yeah, they beat a different Marquette team. They didn't beat that Marquette team that played on Saturday.
Okay.
Um, so going to have a ton of fans there. Bucky travels well to Chicago. Um, Again, the downside is the path. They're going to have to go through Michigan, who I feel like they play in the tournament every year. They've made the finals the last 2 years, the Wisconsin Badgers. So
Yeah,
Wisconsin
with
Badgers,
worse teams probably. And I will say though, that is quite the downside.
the path.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I
But I
mean,
actually got them.
go ahead. They looked so good to me on the road in their win at Purdue this weekend. Like, I don't know how you defend that team. If they make shots, good luck.
What's Do we know the status of Nolan Winter?
He did miss this weekend, which I think is why the number was as big, and was, I think, kind of marked out pretty early. I gotta imagine that they'd like to win this thing, but they care much more about the NCAA tournament. So can't imagine they're rushing him back for this. So I would be concerned if he doesn't play. But they don't need him. Clearly, they can go to West Lafayette and win.
Yeah,
Then
seriously.
again, then again, a lot of people do that this year now.
Yeah, I know that was really bad bet by me. I was putting all my chips on Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer
I
Senior.
mean, it started pretty good. I guess Wisconsin made some shots early, but I was on the other side of you, and I was concerned when Lawyer came in and started drilling shots. I was like, oh no, if this fucking dweeb's gonna drop 45 on me, I'm just gonna already start this Saturday in an angry, bad mood. But whatever. That was
He's a
the over
dweeb.
that was the
Future
overtime losers that did it to me.
future Morgan Stanley Wealth Management representative Fletcher Lawyer.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so I like Wisconsin at 25-1. Again, shop around. I got him at 40-1 last night. Um, Other long shot I like, Mick Cronin, baby.
Woo!
UCLA 4-5 since. Are you raising your voice to me? The team is playing their best basketball of the season. Wins over Nebraska, beat Illinois in overtime, and absolutely eviscerated the Chad Baker Mazzaro-less USC Trojans. I bet USC the other week against Washington State or Washington the first game after he was kicked off the team. I thought there would be like oh good, this cancer's out of our locker room boost. There was not. Um, so US do not even think about putting a dime on USC in this tournament. UCLA weaker side of the bracket. They'll have to go and again play Michigan State, which they were absolutely had their doors blown off by, but that was at the Breslin Center. That was a different UCLA team. Then they're going to get, if they beat Michigan State, you're looking at a finesse bitch team in the semis, whether it be Nebraska, whether it be Purdue, whether it be Indiana, and then who knows versus Michigan.
I don't know if I'd give you a finesse bitch team, an FBT on Nebraska. I really think that they are the opposite of that. I still don't know really what they're good at though.
I mean, Hoiberg, Sanford, Frager, Bass, those are finesse bitch
Oh,
guys.
dude, Rink Mass, that dude can throw a forearm shiver with the best of them. He does have some really weird shoulder acne though, which
Oh
freaks
God,
me out
yeah.
a lot.
Well, maybe he's been called FB so many times he's juicing.
Maybe, but like also, I wouldn't want to touch him in a game. Like that's gross. He's probably all sweaty. I bet he doesn't even use the towels on the bench. He just tries to be as slippery as possible and just runs down the floor with his wooden shoes the whole time. For me, I also like the USC comment kicking Chad Baker Mazzara off the team. I mean, literally, he's the only guy that can make a shot outside of the arc or like literally the little charge circle under the basket. So that was brilliant. But I'm sure I bet he's been having some fun LA nights. Is my guess from good old CBM. For me, I think Purdue. You didn't mention them. I thought you would. 8.5-1 looked very interesting to me. Yes, their defense is really problematic. We saw that last year as well. Pretty much halfway through the year, it just died. I don't know if that's a Kaufman Rang thing. But I do think that they should eviscerate Indiana, who just looks like they're dead to me. And just feels to me like a Valley Conference team just isn't really good enough to play at this level with Connor Enright somehow playing for Indiana. I don't know how that happened. Oh, well, I know because he followed Darian DeVries everywhere. UCLA is an interesting shout, especially coming up against Michigan State. I think we'll see some interesting stuff there. I don't know if John Fanta wants to sniff Mick Cronin's jock like he does Tom Izzo's, though. So that's kind of a problem for me. But we'll see. I don't know if he's on the Big East call or the Big Ten call this weekend either.
He's got to be Big East.
I mean, you never know. He's moving up in the world, dude. A lot of donuts with the coaches. And to me, I think there's everything I'd want. I mean, I do love the Wisconsin idea, but I think the road's too hard. So give me the other side of the bracket. And UCLA's interesting. Purdue's interesting. Far more interesting than I think Nebraska or Michigan State. Next, unless you got anything you want to close on there.
No, let's move on.
All right, Southeastern Conference. We'll go Florida Gators minus 175. So more expensive than Michigan, more expensive than Arizona, cheaper than Duke, as probably would expect. They have Vanderbilt on their side of the bracket, 4 seed at 10-1. The Arkansas Razorbacks, second most likely to win this, third seed overall at 5-1 odds. Alabama, 8-1. Vanderbilt has already said 10-1. Tennessee, 14-1. Texas A&M 35-1, Georgia 35-1 on the same side of the bracket. Kentucky Wildcats 40-1 in Cat Nashville, Cashville. They're a 9 seed, have to get through LSU, Missouri, and then they get Florida. So that's quite a run. Texas Longhorns 66-1, Oklahoma Sooners 100-1. Ole Miss, who plays Texas in the first round, at 300-1. What do you got?
I mean, Florida's been killing everybody. It's tough to go against Florida. I probably won't bet them because they're minus 175. But I have a few interesting scenarios I like to throw at you.
Oh,
Okay. Vanderbilt just beat Tennessee at Tennessee. They can beat them in Nashville. And then what if they just make all their threes against Florida and beat Florida?
nope. FBT.
Okay. Other scenario. What team has been getting absolutely throttled in bubble discussion recently?
A lot of them.
Are we really going to put a X and X team in over Miami of Ohio?
Well, we know Bruce Pearl's not talking about Auburn.
What if Auburn just runs the table at 150-1?
Woo! I'm so sorry I didn't even mention it. I mean, they do get a corpse in Mississippi State to start. Then they get Tennessee.
How'd they do against Tennessee this season?
I want to say they beat them at home and lost by a lot on the road, would be my guess.
Sorry, I'm trying to. You ever try to with the Ken Palm? You're on a team and then it has all the links to the schedule and you try to get to a different team just by clicking on a team they played.
Yes, you go. It's
not going well right now.
I like it in the non-con when you go and you pick one. They're like, okay, I know they're from the same conference. Is usually how I do it.
Here we go. Mississippi State, finally. Okay.
No, Auburn. Oh,
I know, but then I can get from Mississippi State to Auburn.
Damn, we're going through the rabbit holes to get there.
They lost to Tennessee on the road. Yeah, man, they're so garbage. Did you hear his speech at the beginning of the Alabama game, and it was like
Stephen Pearl.
Stephen Pearl's, and it was essentially just a pitch.
Hold on. This is what I remember. Guys, this might be my last regular season game I ever coach. I might be back to striker or whatever the fuck, DeVita.
Or what's the one in Minnesota?
Yeah. United Health. They need a new CEO to walk down the streets. That could be me. Thank you for your effort. Who cares about this game tonight? Alabama sucks. Get me out of here.
It was literally, we have the hardest strength of schedule in the country. We've beaten really good teams.
This is not going to be recorded and blasted all over social media. No way am I making a case for our bubble chances as a 12 seed in the SEC, which somehow did get 14 teams last year, though.
So I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on Auburn, 150-1, and I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on Vanderbilt, 10-1, and I'm going to call it a day and enjoy the SEC tournament.
I think it's gonna be awesome. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it was a really great tournament last year. Seeing Arkansas second most likely to win it feels like there might be some value on Alabama to me. Georgia away from home doesn't really seem like they're great. Texas Georgia should be quite a toss up after both teams kind of blew each other out on their home floors. And to me, I like something about Kentucky makes me feel like they might give Florida a game. If they get there, though, it's a long route to go. Missouri, I think, is an interesting case for the bubble and what they potentially could do or could not do. Don't like them if they're, I mean, they're probably an underdog to Kentucky in the second round, I would suspect, especially the game under Kentucky's belt. But we'll see how Kentucky does with handling fatigue and all those sort of things. We'll move now to, I think, one of the more interesting conference tournaments out there. And if we could bring in Mountain West Ben, Big East Ben's alter ego, if he's still chained under the basement staircase. But we'll go the Utah State Aggies plus 195 to win this tournament. They're the 1 seed. 2 seed San Diego State plus 325. 3 seed New Mexico plus 550. 4 seed Grand Canyon. Welcome to the dance, or at least the Mountain West 6-1 odds. Boise State 6-1. They are the 6 seed. Nevada 16-1 as the 5 seed. Colorado State 20-1 as the 7 seed. UNLV on their home court, though don't expect much home field advantage. Home court advantage, they're the 8 seed at 21. Also, I don't think we need to mention it, but Wyoming 50-1. Everyone else, go fish.
I'll be honest, I thought we were only doing the Power Five conferences, so I did not prepare too much on the Mountain West. Mountain West Ben is still chained up in the basement. Utah State has just shown like way too many flaws for me this season. Getting swept by UNLV is just atrocious.
It
That was
was
the
not.
last.
It was not close against UNLV either. They were
Yeah.
losing by a lot the whole game. The last one I watched, I was surprised by that one. I got to say, they do play a zone. I still don't think Josh Pastner has any idea what he's doing as a coach, but he did spend a year in TV or 2 or 3, and that automatically gets you a job. That's what we need, Biggie Spen. We just need to get just one studio ESPN job, and then we'll all of a sudden be head coaches like Doug Gottlieb in no time. For me, I guess I'll take this one a
I
little
mean,
bit.
I'll wrap up. I think New Mexico, I've watched them twice this year. Once was hosting Utah State at the pit, and the other was hosting Colorado State at the pit, and they lost both those games.
Right.
Which I don't think they had lost a conference game at the pit for 3 seasons until I just watched those 2 games. I'll go with San Diego State plus 325. I mean, Brian Dutcher is one of the best to ever do that. I know the team's not talented. I know Magoon Guaf is in, he's out. He's so inconsistent. But I'll back the Aztecs here.
Yeah, he's about as fragile as Will Campbell. I think I mean, to be frank, San Diego State always gets a ton of love. After they got none of it during their climb, which is probably the best few seasons I had, just betting San Diego State every time they played. But I've been against them a lot recently, winning against them at New Mexico, at Boise State, at Colorado State, like over and over and over again. I do feel like there's been a lot of respect in the marketplace, though, that makes me think that there's probably a good run coming from them here. But CSU, they're a really scary team to play in that first round game if they get through Fresno State, which they should. Big favorites, most likely. CSU, they just launched threes. So if they go in, they can beat you. If they don't, might not go so well for them, and they'll be an early exit. But that's a decent long shot, I think, at 20-1 odds. All these teams are pretty similar. I think you mentioned that Utah State is a 1 seed. They've been, I think, far and ahead the leaders in the conference. I'm not sure that they're that strong, though. We'll move to, I think, last. We'll go to the Big East, and then unless we got something else we want to do, looks like it's just going to be us on this episode. But we'll go to Big East Ben's neck of the woods. Maybe John Fanta. We'll see. He's questionable right now. Right now, we have St. John's as the 1 seed because UConn just decided to really not do their UConn things at the end of the season.
They can't do the UConn thing anymore.
Well, they did against St. John's at one time,
Yeah.
unfortunately to me. UConn currently minus 105 favorites to win this thing as the 2 seed, though. So clearly there's a lot of belief in St. John's on its home court, though you could also argue it's UConn's. St. John's plus 180, Villanova 6-1. They are the 3 seed. Seton Hall 15-1 as the 4, Creighton 40-1 as the 5. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Marquette 60-1 as the 7, and they get to play UConn in the second round if they get through Xavier, who are 200-1 as a 10 seed, which seems a little bit bizarre to me. Providence 70-1 as a 9 seed, Butler 100-1 as the 8 seed, DePaul plus 125 to 1. Yeah, it's a 6 seed. What a performance, Chris Holtman. Great job. Top half or not really top half.
Yeah.
Right in the median of the Big East. That's saying something for a team that's never played a home game.
So people will say this is like recency bias. My criticisms of UConn, like yes, Marquette absolutely kicked the shit out of them, and Dan Hurley should be probably suspended for this tournament for assaulting.
Suspended.
Yeah,
You don't think hanged?
executed by firing squad.
Well, I was reading about the this one I guess Iranian who was trained by the Israeli special forces to strap a bomb to a nuclear physicist's car and have it explode. He
Wait,
admitted to the killing.
The Israelis are training the Iranians on what planet?
Apparently, they're training the UFC fighters because he was a mixed martial artist or
Oh,
something like
okay.
that. This was in 2012, but I was reading about it today because that's what I do at work. Anyway, there is some crazy things. He then got hanged because he admitted to it on video because he got set up to do that, I think. And then they said they wouldn't kill him, and then they did, and they blasted it out on state TV for like 10 days. Well, anyway, felt like to me Danny Hurley got off a little bit lightly compared to other punishments around the world.
I missed that story. So the Israelis trained an Iranian to bomb the Iranians.
To blow up a guy that was close to building a nuclear bomb. Yeah, this these little things. I'm surprised that Iran hasn't just like blown up Israel by now, but I guess they don't have the capacity because all their scientists keep getting executed, assassinated, or whatever stuff. It's wild.
Well, they haven't dipped into their hypersonic reserves. Once they do that, they'll be able to penetrate the Iron Dome with the help of cluster bombs, according to the podcast I listened to.
Right. Well, at least I'm not in Israel anymore because when they told me about how they're forever under siege and that fireworks are actually just bombs blowing up in the sky, I was like, when can I get the hell out of this country?
So good, yeah, good sidebar there. Um, I think UConn at minus 105 is ridiculous. The public doesn't get. They see UConn's record. They know UConn won those two national championships. They don't look at the roster and compare it to that team that
But they have
won.
Alex Caravan.
So listen, let me ask you a couple questions, okay?
Okay.
Would you rather have Donovan Clingan or Terrace Reed?
Donovan Clingan.
Would you rather have a combination of Donovan Clingan and Sonogo or Terrace Reed and Eric Ryba?
Who?
Exactly. Would you rather have Cam Spencer or would you rather have Braylon Mullins?
I mean, it's not even close. Who? Maybe Braylon Mullins speaks in the same or in a better tongue because I don't know. Cam Spencer's tongue just flops all over the place when he talks. Probably should work on some marbles in his mouth to get his speech impediment fixed. But that guy's a baller.
Would you rather have Tristan Newton or Silas Demery?
I do like Silas Demery, but that's not a question. He didn't play at ECU.
Would you rather have Solo Ball or Jordan Hawkins?
Ooh, Solo Ball was probably on that team way back when. He's been there forever. I feel like.
Uh,
I like Solo Ball. I think he's that's the one I'll take. He can go.
You'll take Solo Ball
Speaking
over
of,
the
he can go radioactive. He can go nuclear.
you, you'll take
Get
Solo
it?
Ball over the 13th pick in the NBA draft. Got it. Would you rather have current Alex Caravan or freshman Alex Caravan?
Anything but probably senior year in high school. Then right now,
The you know how many times the broadcast staff, especially Donnie Marshall, said throughout the game, well, he may not have any field goals, but he impacts the game in so many other ways.
oh yeah. What are the odds they put a Yukon guy on a Yukon game?
Jesus. So I think it's ridiculous, just minus 105. I'm going to take the Johnnies, easier path, Madison Square Garden. Besides that little hiccup where they missed 24 straight shots against UConn, they've been playing pretty good basketball. Um, and I'm also sprinkling a little bit on Marquette 60 to 1.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, the Big East used to be so good. like like we are. What
It
are
will
we?
be back. It will be back. There's down years for everybody.
Okay. All right. They better start spending because that's all it's about nowadays. This is the Need for Speed's College Basketball Podcast presented to you by the Betting Pitch Podcast Network. You can find at Big East Ben on Twitter, at the real underscore G Warner across all social media platforms. Is I at the real underscore G Warner on YouTube. We've got a lot more followers there, and I appreciate the subscribers and all you leaving comments and 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify to get us listened more. We will be doing the college basketball marathon, so get ready. If you thought I didn't sleep now, can't wait till the end of April when Ben's gonna have to carry me fireman style into the whatever the heck, Gamebridge or Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. But we are booked and we're ready. We'll be there. Shout out anyone who wants to see us there and buy us drinks. I always accept those. Big East Ben, do you have a favorite pick that you'd like to give out on this episode? Obviously hard to grade for long shots, but if it wins, we will shout it from the hills.
I like my Big Ten strategy. Put a little bit on Wisconsin, put a little bit on UCLA. I think one of those teams will be in the championship game.
There we go. I like Miami 18-1. We both agreed on it earlier, and that'll do it for this episode. At A Brooks Bets, we're gonna have to send out a search party, or maybe his wife was a little frisky tonight, so he couldn't make the episode. We'll see. Other than that, we'll see you very, very soon. Getting our whatever beauties rest in before the big time dance comes in. Expect for a schedule to come out officially from the Need for Seeds College Basketball Twitter handle, which Ben is about to restore.
That might be a next season thing.
All right, why not just do it when most people would care about us? But yeah, let's wait till November when literally no one cares at all. Sure, great. We'll talk with our business coach afterwards, and we'll see you next time on the Need for Seeds College Basketball Podcast. Good night.